What's up, everybody? This is Bros, Brews, and Botches. This is Yellow Boy. We're here with Hogs Wars and the OHB himself over here, boy. And did we just get a new AEW champion and where their new debuts at AEW? Double or nothing. Hey, we're about to find out here. We got the boys here and we're about to do a review. So, what do you guys think overall about the show?
Eh.
Wow, he didn't even hit it with it.
There was a setup. I mean, just alley oop you.
Every once in a while, I got to change it up.
Yeah, it's right.
You ain't been on here for a month almost since the last pay per view, and
Feel like
nothing.
it. Feel like it.
I give it 3 out of 5 caps.
There it is.
Yeah.
As we always say, it didn't suck, but
That's
still.
it.
There it
That's it.
is. Hey, he said the thing, y'all. He did the thing.
Catchphrases, Yuns.
He did. Yo. So, hey, we were looking at a 4-hour show, and it ended up being 5. Like,
Man.
at the East Coast, it is now going on 1 o'clock in the morning. Here on Central Time, we are only going on midnight. So, yeah, y'all want to get into? Oh, first, before talking about anything last night, late last night, there was the report with MJF, and we thought before the show that MJF was not going to show up because of those reports and what they had said. For those of you who are watching, don't know, the reports were that MJF was taking a flight out of Las Vegas or had booked a flight out of Las Vegas because he had missed a booking for a meet and greet earlier in the day. Folks saying that allegedly he had tickets to go to Newark, New Jersey, a flight out. So no one knew if the match tonight was in jeopardy, but no fret, no fear, because MJF was here, but we will get into that a little later. So y'all want to talk about the buy-in?
What buy-in, man? I
Right.
mean,
It was one match.
they straight up was like, buy the pay-per-view, brother. These are all the matches that are going down. And then it was Hookhausen versus,
Tony Nese.
Exactly.
Nese and Smart Mark Sterling.
And it was funny, but that's it.
Yeah, but that's what it was supposed to be. I mean, it was Hookhausen. It was an attraction to kind of warm the crowd up. Was the Acclaim, wasn't that was that before or after the Hookhausen match?
It was
before.
Yeah, it was before.
Yeah, they had the Acclaimed and the Ass Boys come out.
Yeah, getting their scissor on. Yeah.
Yeah, just to bring some amusement, even though all of them are, I guess, heels. They just did some stuff to pop the crowd and get them ready for the buy-in.
The stuff they do.
He had him. Colt, was it Colton? Colt, says that.
Yeah, Colton.
Yeah, Colton. He had him down there in the wheelchair, and he started, talking to smack about the ass mans or whatever. And then he was like, "Nope, we got to go."
Yeah,
I thought that popped me, dude. I was like, "That dude, he's out there rapping, and then." Throws it over, and then all of a sudden he's talking smack about the gun club, and they're like, "No, we done with this."
Talking about Full Gear. Come on, man.
It was great, dude. That was great.
Yeah. So, and like you said, the Hookhausen versus Tony Nese and Smart Mark Sterling, just an attraction match, just to kind of get the show going. Hookhausen won, obviously. After Hook did all the dirty work for the match, a flurry of suplex and T-bone suplexes and such, and Danhausen's on the ring apron wanting the tag, gets the tag, he just comes in and pins Mark Sterling. Yeah, that pose that he did as he pinned him.
Yeah, that's it.
Cursing the universe.
But it does lead us into the main card and the main show, which I was not expecting the main show to start with MJF versus Wardlow, but here we are. Hogs Wars, man. What'd you think about the match? What'd you think about the intros, first of all?
I thought it was very interesting because everybody was holding on MJF's one like hard. They was just like, let's see if he really gonna come out here or not. And then once he came out here, great. And then of course, Wardlow comes out like he's freaking Goldberg without the music, and everybody popped once he came out there. But it got the desired reaction. We know who was going to win. We know why he was going to win because they didn't built this thing up for more than 6 months. So really, about 2 years if you really think about it, since he first got there. So everybody was
OHB,
ready for it.
OHB,
Yeah, man. I think about the match or them coming in, or what do you mean?
both.
Yeah, well, you know how, like, I mean, I can't really follow up with too much more of what Hogwarts said because it's like that. You know, he came out there, MJF, it was like doo 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 doo, and you were like, okay, is he coming out? He came out and he had like that Macho Man stuff where he held his things up and had the little
Mm,
whatever is under there says I'm better than you. And then Wardlow, like you said, he came out. That man was in a solitary confinement room by himself, and they let
He
him
right.
out with
was.
them handcuffs on him. He
He
come out there, and
was.
I'm pretty sure that the crowd was even doing. If they weren't saying Goldberg, they were saying Wardlow. So
Hmm.
I mean, the comparisons are there, especially the squash matching and stuff like that. But you know, he got in there, and there was a little bit of back and forth. But the thing that probably popped me the most is when you know MJF was acting like his knee was hurting. Then he went for that little ring, and Bryce and Wardlow both looking at him like, "What are you doing, dude?" And they're like, and then it was a powerbomb symphony after that, man. And you know,
Jeez.
It
you could
was.
figure out what it was after that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think for what it was, I think everybody really speculated it was going to be, or what it needed to be, was a kind of a squash match for Wardlow against MJF because of all the stuff that MJF was putting Wardlow through. So, it kind of ended up being that way. As you had said, OHB, it was a symphony of power bombs with 10 power bombs,
Hmm.
power bombs, and suspicious by his absence was I almost called him his old name. I almost called him Ty Dillinger. Um
How about the chairman?
yeah, I was he wasn't there, but didn't need him because what the match was for Wardlow to be put over, and he was. The aftermath was that MJF was put on a stretcher and stretchered out as he flipped off everybody in the crowd as he got stretchered out of the crowd. So it seems
Wasn't
to
his best
me,
man.
right? It seems to me that he's being written off of television. Whether that's for what
Hmm.
happened last night or what, I don't know. Of course, there'll be news stories about it coming soon as news gets out there for it. So, anyway, second match on the card. So it's like they slowly amped up everything as AEW events usually do. It was the Young Bucks versus the Hardys. It was the Elite versus the Elite. Um, I, I enjoyed it. I don't know about you guys. I don't know. I rather enjoyed the Young Bucks and their tag team matches. I mean, the flippy doos and stuff like that they do. Um, OHB, did you have any notes on this match?
Not particularly. It was just the basic Young Buck stuff, but I think they worked more the Hardy style than they did their own style. It was a slower pace match for a Young Bucks match, but they
Hmm.
pretty much everybody hit like all their high spots, which I thought was amazing. And there was even one part that Nick hit the Swanton bomb, and I was like, oh man, he hit it just like perfect too.
Hmm.
Yeah, but there was one brutal spot in there that I was like, oh my god, I don't know why Jeff Hardy has to take bumps like that, and I'm gonna throw that up for one of you guys to talk about. But man, come on, dude, like. I don't know, man. He's just like, dude, that old man don't need to be taking that kind of bumps at this age and at this status in his career.
Shoot.
House Wars, go for it.
I mean, he already barely walking half the darn time. We in the match, if you notice. Shoot, every time he tries to do a whisper in the wind, look like he like got to judge himself. Like, do I really want to kill myself this time? Like, so it's like I'm like, I'm glad they got the match out because they've been talking about how great it is to finally have a match. But it's almost like you have a match against some guys in the prime of their career, and some guys that are literally so beat the hell up they barely walking across the ring. So, eh, it was good for what it was, but
Yeah, I mean, I kind of add back to that, man. Like both Jeff and Matt, like especially Matt for some reason to me, he just seemed like, dude, he was tired getting
hmm
around in that match. match. And then, they had that one part, like, I kind of threw it over to you, but you didn't say it. But he had laid Matt, they had laid Matt Jackson out on the steps that they had flipped over on his side. And then, Jeff went and swanton bombed him onto that. And I was like, dude, there's no reason to take them kind of bumps like this. Don't matter what kind of match or whatever you're going to have. And I thought they were going to try to go for the Meltzer driver on that boy before it all got, it went south. But, I mean, like I said, it was what it was for the match. And I think I enjoyed it. I mean, I really thought at first, I was like, man, I'm going to be sleeping through the first part of this pay per view. So didn't disappoint on that one.
Yeah, and I don't know about what y'all think, but I know OHB, you said that Matt seemed he seemed blown up, but to me, Jeff seemed like he was off the whole match. I don't know what it was, but he seemed a little off to me. I know that perusing through Twitter, a few people on Twitter said the same thing, but it just seemed like he was off. I know the match had its ups and downs, and like you said, OHB with the big spot with the stair steps and House Wars, as you was talking about, like everyone got what they needed to get out. There was the spot towards the end where the Hardys ate a bunch of super kicks. Like it was just super kick after super kick, and the Hardys was just eating them. But the Hardys ended up getting the win. There was a bunch of little flurry at the end, but Jeff got to do his swanton, and that heavy hitting swanton, like whoever's taking that, their abdominals are just gonna have to get messed up. Because Jeff isn't going on his shoulders anymore. He's just flat back bumping that swanton. And then he did, I don't know if it was because of the fact that the rumors from WWE or what, but after he won, he did a victory lap through the crowd, around into the crowd, and then back into the ring as they beat the Bucks. So I don't know. It was a match. It did not suck, as somebody says. It did not suck.
No, it didn't.
Next match I was kind of very into was the Jade Cargill and Anna Jay for the TBS championship. Again, we said this on every single show that Jade is on. That woman is a star. Like there is no ands, ifs, or buts about it. That woman is money. WWE is probably knocking down or going to knock down. OHBU has said it while we were watching that WWE is going to be throwing money at her once her contract with AEW is coming to an end. They would be stupid if they wouldn't. But I don't think anybody expected Anna Jay to win this match because she's already beaten her before. But there was some near falls and some really good spots. And you could tell that both of these women, because Anna Jay, when she first got into AEW, she wasn't real just expertly trained, and you could tell she was still pretty green. And of course, Jay Cargill is green, which not any of their fault, but you could really tell that they've been working or they're really trying really hard to do a whole lot better than what they are to put on entertaining matches. So I was heavily entertained. Any spots that any of you guys? I know the big deal of this match is the end of it. We'll save that for a second, the end of the match. But anything within the match that kind of piqued you guys' interest?
I know the finish was like awesome because I wasn't expecting that. Where Jade had already tried to hit the Jaded and got reversed into the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment. But anyway, but then they transition over to the top rope, and you just like, nah, it ain't. And she turned that joke into Jaded off the top rope, and it just looked nasty. I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that popped me real good right there. I was like, when you grab your face, you gotta like, damn. But yeah, that was cool.
Oh, HB, you got some heel heat going?
Yeah, with him, that guy over there talking about it popped me and all this and that. He don't know. No. The thing for me, man, I always like bumps on the outside, and there's one part where she slid out there and got Hogan and Velvet both and grabbed them both in a DDT and dropped them on the map. So I was like, oh man, look at that! You don't see the outside bumps like that hardly anymore. So that for me. But like other than that, like I'm gonna let you take that yellow boy on the as far as the ending goes. But I mean, it popped me, and I hadn't been popped in a while like that. So
Giggity. But smart Mark Sterling did make a return to the side of the ring, tried to get involved, failed miserably.
Mm-hmm.
Because wasn't it was that Chris Statlander who eventually came out and gave him a suplex? I believe that was. No, it was John Silver. My fault, y'all. It
yo
was
yeah.
John Silver who came
Wait a
out.
minute, no man, I don't know about
John
that.
Silver.
But yeah,
John Silver came out to for sorry y'all. So it was a long show. 5 hours is a long time, yes,
Mm-hmm.
but really six if you count the pre-show. Um, but yeah, John Silver came out, suplexed Mark Sterling, took him on out, which left Jade in the ring to like Hogwarts said, do the jaded from the top rope, get the pin, retain. Well, afterwards, of course, OHB had mentioned that the baddies, Kiera Hogan and Red Velvet, were outside the ring, and it looked like they were going to do a beatdown spot. Outcomes, well, first before all of that, outcomes Stokely Hathaway, the former Malcolm Bivens in WWE or NXT, which I think the IWC on Twitter recalling that once he was released from NXT and WWE, the internet was saying that it would be a better fit to have Stokely Hathaway with Jade because of his talking skills than Smart Mark Sterling. And now they've got their wish because he's come out and he is now all elite because Tony Khan's given him the graphic and everything. So he's all elite now. But then he's out there with the baddies and Jade, then, of course, Anna Jay is surrounded. So out comes Chris Statlander. Chris Statlander comes to the rescue, but they're still outnumbered by one. And music drops. People are looking, seeing who it is. It says Fallen Goddess. And Athena, the former Ember Moon, is now all elite. So everyone was
ooh,
speculating who would be the one to dethrone Jade Cargill for that TBS championship. A lot of people said that it should be Athena, and it's looking like it may be Athena that can dethrone Jade. So good to see Athena in AEW. I know she had some matches on Warrior Wrestling, and she was the Warrior Wrestling's women champion as she beat Thunder Rosa. So yeah, seeing her in AEW, that I know LHB you had said that's definitely going to be a surge to the women's division
mm-hmm.
because I know Hogs Wars you were saying as well that AEW has done their women's division dirty. So so anything to add to those debuts?
No man, like I'm hyped to see where that's going to go with Athena. Um, because I think that they're doing right by the women's division, and it'll end up being like something that the WWE does with their women's division, to where the people can work good, but then it's like it always go gravitates towards like the eye candy thing with them, man. And I'm just trying to see them get out there and go at it. So
Yeah, and there's a match that was later on that was definitely that. I mean, to a T, watching two women just go and be very technical, but we'll get to that in a minute. So, moving right along in the show, we have the House of Black versus Death Triangle. I wasn't sure in that intro with Death Triangle if it was Rey Phoenix's son or if it was Penta Oscuro's son, Cero Miedo. So I wasn't sure, but they had someone's child out there dressed up in a mask and everything. He was hype. I think we want to say
Mm-hmm.
that it was Penta's son, and he was definitely hyped for the intro with Alex that was out there, and he sent him to the back, and then Alex came on out for that match, and the match is what I thought it would be. Hogs Wars, what you got for on this match?
Of course, it did not suck at all. It was a pretty damn good match. Uh, Second, I was really kind of glad it went the way it did because for the most part, they really just been dump trucking everybody. So it's like they finally got a real challenge, and that's what made the match because they haven't had a challenge the entire time they done came together. So that, and then just kind of seeing all these ridiculous high flying moves mixed in with guys being powerhouses on 1 minute and missing flips the next minute. So it's pretty nice.
Yeah, that missed flip. Are you talking about House of Black Brody's?
Yeah, Brody King, when he tried to hit that darn dude in the corner, he totally missed it.
Oh, I thought you were talking about his outside plancha
Oh,
that he was trying to hit.
Absolutely on the apron.
Yeah. He gave the apron the business.
He straight up. Apron got did dirty.
Man.
OHB, what you got to add to that match?
Man, I was pretty hype about it because, like you said, whenever you get Penta and Ray Phoenix in there and they get going, especially with other people that can kind of keep pace with them, it's always good. And then you throw Pac in the mix, and all I wanted to see from him was them real quick release snap German suplexes, and he hit a few of them in there. So for me, it was a banger. I mean, it didn't go the way I thought it should have went because now I'm like, okay, they introduced to something towards the end of it that we kind of suspected was going to be happening all along anyway. But it's like House of Black's like stuck in this little rut now. Like, what are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
So we're going to see. But, yeah, like, so I really wanted the Death Triangle to win, but they did not. So, I mean, spoiler alert for Yuns.
OHB, I'll let you talk about the ending here in a second, but
yeah, go ahead.
A couple things I wanted to add to that. I think because of injury and travel and pandemic and all of that stuff, this rivalry couldn't get off to where it really needed to be because they've been on again and off again for months, and you didn't have the full Death Triangle. And of course, House of Black has been just kind of stagnant because of the fact that they were feuding with Death Triangle and they're wanting to finish that feud, but people were injured here and there and, whatever. But I wanted to see, you were talking about that snap German off the ropes or whatnot. What about that assist Canadian destroyer that Ray Phoenix hit, or excuse me, that Penta hit jumping off of Ray Phoenix and onto the apron? Like, do you remember that?
Yeah, that's filthy, dude. Like, 'cause I wasn't sure what they were going to go with, and all of a sudden he sprung over his back, caught dude, flipped and pile drived him, and I was like, that's probably one of the more brutal, like, looking, I don't know punishment-wise, because I've obviously never been in the ring, but, like, just to see it, I'm just like, dude, that guy got stuck, son. I mean, like, that's what... So it affects my like suspension of disbelief sometimes when I see something like that and then somebody's still, rolling about after that. I'm like, dude, that person, they should have been out for a little bit before they got back involved in the match again. After catching something like that, come on, dude.
Right.
Just so it makes sense.
Yes. But OHB, what happened at the end of that match, though? What to get to that conclusion?
So there was a bunch of ruckus going on, this and that, and, Pocket T's doing the, I can't remember what it's called. The arrow, what is it?
The Black Arrow.
Yeah,
Black Arrow.
The Black Arrow. Teased doing that. Well, I guess he was finally going to try to go for it, and then all of a sudden, old girl came out. What's it, Hart?
Julia Hart.
Julia Hart. Back and forth anyway. She's been had the eye patch on after catching the mist from Malachi Black.
Hard.
Then, she finally came out. Lights went out. Lights came back up. She spit that mist all over dude's face, chest, inner thighs, kneecaps, bottom of his shoes. I mean, it was everywhere. She must have just had like a whole mouthful of that stuff. Death. And it was
right.
It was a wrap after that. So now I'm like, where are we going? Where are we going to go from here? Stay tuned to find out.
We've been going 6 months with this whole Julia Hart thing where she's just been moping on the side of the ring and everything with the eye patch, with the Varsity Blondes So yeah, we shall see. Um, moving along, because again, I can't stress enough that this show was 5 hours long. So
Man.
it didn't drag on like Revolution did.
Hmm.
Um,
I would
because
say that, yeah.
yeah, Revolution hit like a wall. Unfortunately, it was at the women's match, title match in Revolution, and we didn't have that this go round.
Oh, it's
I,
brutal, man. I remember it sucked the whole energy out of all of us and the show.
Hmm.
hmm
Hard to
this one,
watch.
yeah, this one didn't do that. But moving next was the Owen Hart final for the men's for excuse me, the Owen Hart men's tournament final. Owen Hart Foundation men's tournament final. Such a long name. Anyway, Adam Cole versus Samoa Joe. And it should have been a precursor that Adam Cole was wearing pink trunks in honor of Owen
Hmm.
Hart. But, yeah, OHB caught that immediately, the pink trunks and everything. And that should have been the precursor. And I mean, it picked up kind of where the rivalry Owen, between between Adam and Samoa Joe were in NXT. So it just kind of picked up from their feud there. And yeah, just kind of what you would think with a Samoa Joe match with all the hands and a lot of smacks, a lot of chops, a lot of big meaty Samoa Joe doing meaty things. Had to pop Hogwarts with that one.
Sorry, that was funny.
He got that Wamplers in on him, baby.
You got
Big
that
man
sausage.
slapping man meat is always hilarious. I don't give a
Hogwarts, what you see with that match with the big meaty man swapping meat?
damn. Well, first off, I enjoyed the hell out of it because it's always nice when Samoa Joe come out there because I pop every time. Joe, Joe, Joe. Like I ain't never seen the Darren interest before. And then of course he go out there like he's some cool dude the whole time. Like he don't even be menacing no more. Now he be kind of chilling like he got their cane in his hand on slab. But anyway, uh,
Stupid.
I really enjoyed the fact that yeah, Adam Cole kind of took a lot of L's to show the back and forth of the match, and they did a pretty good job of building to crescendo. But one thing I want to point out that me and over here boy talked about later on, it really did seem whether they meant to or not. If you was wearing green and gold tonight, you was pretty much getting losses all over the place. And I don't think they meant that, but it's just like it was just something you noticed after a while. Like, wait a minute, was that on purpose or it just had a way they scheduled it today? Because it just seemed like everybody in that color got done in, starting from when Mark Sterling them got done in because his little yellow stuff on. So just random observation. But anyway,
Green and yellow, baby.
I told him I said like the damn $1 million man. All of a sudden, you
Yeah,
just know he gonna.
dude, he popped me on that too. You stepped away. He said he got a $1 million man on. I cracked up. I don't know what it was. It just hit me the right way, man. He said, "Green and yellow, green and yellow, green and yellow." Yeah.
OHB?
I mean, I don't know what you want me to say about it, dude. It really went like I thought it's an odd pairing between the two of them because Samoa Joe is just such a big dude, and Adam Cole is not a big dude. So it was the back and forth type thing where they got some good strikes in, but then it really was a beat down there to the point where Adam Cole got a little bit of the upper hand, and Bobby Fish came out there and distracted, and then that's when things went south, you know. And then one thing that Yellow Boy, whenever you even see like that can't be it, when Cole lowered the boom on him, like I was like, that's it, dude, it's a wrap. And you're like, nah, he's gonna kick out. And I was like, nah, it's 1, 2, 3. And you're like, oh, okay, that's what we're doing.
Right.
So
And you got like, all right.
yeah, but like I done seen Samoa Joe take some more brutal beatdowns than just
Right.
shine a wizard to the back of the head. But whatever, man. Most protected move got heat with me.
I think, like, and I was talking to y'all when we were watching the show itself. I think, even though the ending to me came out of surprise, I do think that it helps build this identity for Cole of being this de facto leader for the Undisputed Elite. As they've created this drama after Kenny Omega left, and he's kind of taken over, and he can say that the Bucks lost in their match, but he won his match and won the Owen Championship. Owen Hart being from Canada, he can make himself a de facto Canadian, a great Canadian at this point, or something to that extent. He's kind of goofy. So it could go into the storyline where, they split off and do this civil war with the Undisputed Elite and so forth. What's up?
I was going to say, plus you have all that Bullet Club stuff that's been happening. We hear Jay White and stuff stealing on people. So that's going to have to come into play somewhere. Maybe not, but it's just odd to me, because like you said, I think it is going to be an Undisputed Elite, and then we're going to see whatever, if it's just the Elite or whatever they call themselves. It's going to be interesting, and we'll see how it goes. I'm just ready for the Bucks to quit wearing rompers, man. I'll be honest with you. That's got the big heat wave with me, dude.
And I don't think it hurts Joe to lose, since he's the Ring of Honor champion, or he's the Ring of Honor champion right now, television champion, and
TV champion.
Yeah, he's television champion right now.
It ain't on TV. It ain't like he's doing anything right now. So
right, and they're trying to figure out what they're going to do for Ring of Honor, so it doesn't hurt him. They can put him in a prominent position once they figure out all the players that's going to be for Ring of Honor, so it doesn't hurt him at all. After that match, they actually went back to back with the Owen Hart Foundation tournaments. They had the women's side, which the final two for that was Britt Baker and Ruby Soho, which it popped OHB. Why did it pop you, OHB, for the entrance for Ruby Soho?
Because they had dude from Fozzy playing Britt Baker out, and I said, man, it'd be so awesome if they had Branson play Ruby Soho out. And guess what? Justin Roberts said, and now Rancid. And I was like, yo, baby.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was awesome.
Immediately after OHB said, I wish it was Rancid. I wish Rancid played out Ruby Soho. And I mean, no more than a second after he said it, Justin Roberts announced Rancid to come out. And I was like, he got your wish. So, yeah, they had Rancid play out Ruby Soho. And I've said this to you guys on the stream or whatnot. Britt Baker, and I think this is no shock to anybody who's watching this, following AEW wrestling. Britt Baker is a protected wrestler on AEW.
Mm-hmm.
She is highly protected. I think some people are getting tired of seeing her in prominent roles, which is why they were getting tired of her as the champion. Unfortunately, they kind of fumbled Thunder Rosa as champion after she won. But I don't think that people really wanted to see Britt Baker in a prominent role. However, they also fumbled Ruby Soho. Like, they made a big deal when she came to AEW, and then it just kind of wet farted afterwards. It was just, she's here now. She's the queen of dark and being on backstage segments on Rampage.
Hogs always knows what's up about a wet fart.
Look who talking.
Hey, sometimes there's too much sausage, it happens.
No joke, man. What you're saying about Ruby, dude. It's just like, we were talking when we were actually watching it. It's just like, man, like, how much are you gonna bury her to the point to where it's like, okay, now we're starting to have some issues here. Like, how can we build her back up to the point to where it's okay, she can be a contender for any kind of a title or anything at this point? So I don't know, man. Like, DMD super protected. Like, might be the most protected person in the company, to be honest with you. Like, because I mean, I ain't seen what her record was when she rolled out there, but it's got to be ridiculous.
Leaps and bounds ridiculous.
Yeah, it's unfortunately, like I said, they kind of fumbled Ruby Soho's. Well, after her initial debut, they kind of fumbled it. But all that to say, the match was a match, and Britt Baker won. So she's the winner of that tournament side, the women's tournament, and her partner, Adam Cole, is the winner of the men's side. So I thought it would have been better to have. This is my personal opinion. I thought it would have been better just to have Ruby Soho to give her a better push, but now she's just kind of in the shuffle. Um, and unfortunately, that's kind of how it's been working at AEW. I mean, no discredit to them, but one of the flaws is like the new toy comes out and they shuffle in the old ones. So, assume you got the brand new luster when you come in new. Then a few weeks later, you just kind of shuffled in, especially with their women's division. So I hope
Mhm.
that they can get Ruby Soho back into a prominent position. Um, I don't know. Maybe she'll be back up in the championship contendership. But after those matches, they had a lovely presentation of trophies from Martha Hart, who was brought out from the biggest nerd. I mean, sorry,
Yo,
like the Joker came out and was just very giddy and nerdy, bringing out
Right.
Martha Hart. Martha Hart
with
comes
his $1,000 Arn Anderson jacket on.
right.
Right.
That boy shined up. He said,
Them damn $5,000 Balenciagas he was wearing. I'm
"Yo,
like, bro.
that
Yeah.
dude, that dude pays more money than my house is worth for to look like a hobo. That's the worst."
Right.
Exactly.
Him and dude
So
from Meta.
Petty.
very,
Hey, sometimes you just gotta be.
yeah, it's true. But they presented both Britt and Adam with belts um, that were. I didn't get to see all of it. I didn't get to see the close up of it. It looked like there was a Owen Hart, I guess replica or whatever you want to say, Owen Hart figure, statue, whatever, on the belt. It was pink leather, had some side plates, looked like an old maybe AWA or something like that belt to me a little bit. But it was nice. I'm not saying it was terrible. It was a nice looking belt, and then a cup, and excuse me, and Martha Hart made it seem that this is going to be something that's going to happen on an annual basis, because she said next year we're all going to wear hats like mine, because she had on this. What kind of hat did you call it? Hogs Wars.
I done freak forgotten now. That's what I said.
You said that this wasn't what event she
Oh,
was wearing that hat.
that was me talking about this
Oh,
ain't
that
no
was you.
Kentucky Derby.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
Like
that
this ain't
show
the
was like
Derby.
that.
But then
One
I
of them
said
Derby
some
hats.
other words after that that's too hot for YouTube, baby. But you can catch that on our Patreon at BigSausageDaddyWamplers.com.
And the OnlyFans.
Only hams.
Only hams.
Yo,
Love it.
that's
Only
stupid.
hams.
Dumb.
Powered by over here, boy. Flaming bottle caps.
That's it.
Boy,
Come get you
if we
some.
don't pop nobody else, we gonna pop ourselves on this stream,
That's
y'all.
why we're the
Right.
bros.
Yeah, exactly. Um, so after the presentation, all that good stuff. Next match, mixed trios match, Men of the Year, with the debuting Paige Van Zant versus Sammy Guevara, Ty Conti, and Frankie Kazarian. Hogs Wars, since you just shook your head, what did you think about this match?
There's a lot of that match that sucked. I'm not going to even lie about it. Then the ending did not suck. I was very happy with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yo.
my main gripe with the whole match is I get it, Sammy. You want to play this role that you think you're doing, but there's a point where it's just like even we think you're being stupid. Like we got your back. Be as heelish as you gotta be, but when the only heel thing you're really doing is just kissing somebody longer than you really need to, no one gives a shit. Y'all move on somewhere, man.
Womp.
Right. I think we're 30 minutes in. We give them one.
I do apologize.
Hey, it's all right. You just keeping it real.
Yeah,
Keeping it real.
yo.
You had to, because I mean, the rest of the actual match was just basic dynamite match where one guy jumping out the damn ring half the darn time, the other guy magically wakes up after like 2 seconds and then jumps back in, does the exact same thing the other direction. So even though I do admit that
That
part
summed
where
the entire matchup perfectly, dude. Actually,
yeah,
Right.
yeah. No,
But I think that was no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no. I was just gonna say, they were like he was getting at with with the whole Ty Conti and the Spanish God over there making out all the time, and Frankie Kazarian was just like, bro, like I'm trying to win this match, and you're just like busy over here making out and stuff. And then he got in there at one point in time towards the end. And there was a big face off between all 6 of them. Well, it was 5 of them, and then
5 of them.
They're like, "Come on in, Kaz," and Kaz said, F what you heard, I'm out." And then he rolled out of the ring and then left them to the devices of the trio of Van Zandt and I can't remember what they go by.
Men of the Year.
Men of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden he came in there because he wasn't trying to lose the match after all. Kaz wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a nasty cutter in there. Actually, he hit.
Man,
yes,
beautiful.
Before the finish of the match, but like it actually had me popping for the team that I didn't really think I was going to pop for to win it, and then they did. So, like, I mean, that's weird how they kind of like swerving that. It's like, I don't know, it's odd. Like,
I think both of y'all had said in the beginning, like, which one's the heel? Like, who are we supposed to root for in this match? Because a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, they looked like they were positioning Scorpio Sky to leave Men of the Year and be a face. And then all of a sudden he swerved it back and turned on Kazarian. And, Sammy, because Sammy and Ty generate instant heat because of them swapping faces. I mean, instant heat, and they were trying to position them as faces. And then ultimately it backfired because like they started hearing the crowd boo them. So they were like, all right, just go in on it. And I think that's the psychology that they were trying to do for the match, that Sammy was too engulfed in, one, trying to showboat, and two, trying to showboat to show out for a tie in order that they can make out and such like that, that it distracted him ultimately from winning the match and being focused and pushing his tag team partner away. And like you said, OHB, it kind of had us rooting for the people that we didn't think we should root for, which is Men of the Year and Paige Van Zandt. And props to Paige Van Zandt getting in there, her very first wrestling match, and was in there. I mean, it looked all right for someone who, first wrestling match. I mean, granted, you grapple, you bump and everything. And Hogs Wars, about this with your judo background and such like that. Taking bumps and stuff like that shouldn't be an issue for somebody who
you don't even think about it because you already take 50 of them before you even start class. So I mean, you don't even blink once you do that, forever. Especially since she was so good and great as long as she has. She probably don't even think about falling. She do it on accident,
right,
and still land right.
So yeah, I mean the win came as that. Was it Sammy that got pinned?
Yeah.
It got put in the TKO and got pinned for Men of the Year to win. Again, all right. Like there were parts of that match, as Hogs Wars said, that did suck because they just need to separate Sammy and Men of the Year now, which the stipulation of that match was if Sammy and Kaz did not win, they cannot challenge Scorpio Sky for the TNT Championship. So
thank God.
But I don't know who's going to step up. Oh, I do know who's going to step up because it leads to the backstage segment. I'll just go ahead and talk about the backstage segment. I know it's out of order, but there was a backstage segment later on with Men of the Year who were basically saying they are on to the next chapter. Scorpio Sky asks to see who would step up next for the TNT Championship, which enters Dante Martin because his brother is out again. Hopefully his brother Darius gets well very soon and recovers very soon so that they can finally be on the road for the tag team. Anyway, Dante is going to challenge for the TNT title, I believe, Wednesday in Los Angeles in Scorpio Sky's hometown. So there's that. So we don't have to go into that. Right. This is the worst city. Next match. Moving right along. My God. 5 hours. 5 hours. Oh, yeah. My God. is Darby Allin versus Kyle O'Reilly.
Dude, I don't want to
Go
like
for it.
interrupt, but like I have to say this
Yes.
right off the cuff, son. They got in there. Kyle O'Reilly hit the most vicious knee I've ever seen a human
Man,
eat in my
God.
life. Right on Darby Allin, just blah. And I thought that I was like, he's KO'd right there. Ain't I mean, he hit him for real, dude. Anyway,
Mhm.
that's all I got to say.
Down.
Knee sandwich. Like you can
Dude,
see Darby Allin's mouth was bleeding
a
after
tooth.
that.
Right. Like he knocked the
Teeth.
tooth out that month.
Their teeth. Um, OHB, you've made this comment several times, and you can make it again for you people watching. But as far as Darby Allin, you talk about him, his wrestling style, and you say the same thing. What do you always say about him?
When that man is 35 years old, he is not going to be able to walk or put his own shoes on or nothing, dude. That kid takes bumps, and that's his gimmick right now. So I hope he gets
Right.
paid and makes enough money and saves all his acorns because when it comes harvest time, he ain't going to be able to walk to enjoy it, if you know what I'm saying. It's brutal.
See, like you said earlier, he said even Mick Foley looking at him like, "Hey, Doc, when you get my age, you ain't gonna be able to do a goddamn thing." So we
Right.
know.
You know something, Darby? There's a problem I have with you walking. You're going to be crippled.
Pretty much. And if
Spot
not, you're
on.
gonna really hate waking up every day in the morning.
Yeah.
My God, Darby took one heck of a spill trying to do
Man.
a tope, a suicida out of there.
It
It
was a
was
suicida, all right.
suicida. All right, that's what I was just about to say.
It was a blah,
My
blah,
God,
blah,
cartwheeled the wrong way on his
Macho
head.
mania.
Man, he just, yeah, you've got to go on Twitter or YouTube or somewhere to go see that spot because, yeah,
Because they
Darby
wouldn't even
looked like,
re-show it like they wanted them to.
right. Darby took one heck of he kept going, but
Man.
as said earlier, he ain't going to be walking if he taking
He
spots
was
like
looking
that.
like Jeff Hardy. Watch.
Going back to what Hogsworth just said, he said they didn't even re-show it like they wanted to. And Jim Ross seemed like he was getting agitated about it. He's like, let's show
Right.
that again. And they didn't show it again. So he probably went back to the truck. I told you guys to show that again, and you didn't.
That
By
was the
God.
perfect time.
My God, you little bastard. That's right. That's mine.
Man, so just to get to the close of the match, because there wasn't really anything. I mean, outside of Darby trying to kill himself, as always, he did a
Right.
coffin drop, of course, to the apron, which it seems like it happens every match now. Hit
Mhm.
Kyle O'Reilly, but Kyle O'Reilly won. He did a couple of PKs,
Man.
yeah, and hit that knee off the top rope,
He flush hit that
which
knee. It's nasty, dude, to his
Yeah, he
back.
did. All in his back.
yeah, to
Oh.
that patent knee. Like I think OHB said it, but we all agree we want to see more between Kyle O'Reilly and Brian Danielson because
Mhm.
they definitely have some similar styles that could make some all-time classics there at AEW.
Great chemistry.
But very much so. And then again, as I said before with Adam Cole, that just goes along with that storyline that the Bucks lost while Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole won their matches here at Double or Nothing. So it could add fuel to his leadership role as Kenny Omega gets better. So anyway, next match, women's championship match. Oh my God, banger match. In fact,
Mhm.
I'm gonna let OHB take the lead on this one because it was a banger match, which is Thunder Rosa versus Serena Deeb.
The prof.
Mhm.
The professor. So Serena Deeb got in there, and you know how it is. Like Thunder Rosa and her, they did. First of all, Thunder Rosa's entrance attire and everything she had on was amazing. Props to that.
Mhm.
But they got in that match and started going, and then if you don't like slow paced matches, this was not for you because like they got down and started getting technical and started putting a lot of submission holds on each other, stretching each other, and that's the kind of stuff I like to see when people get down there and start clutching a body. And I ain't talking about rest holds. I'm talking about straight up getting there and doing some holds. I mean, we seen an octopus hold at one point in time. We seen like a pendulum swing at one point in time. I mean, we saw all kinds of different little submission holds on the ground, so a couple like crossface type maneuvers. I mean, it was awesome. I mean, but like I said, it was a very much Serena Deeb match, and that's what I expected out of her, and she did not disappoint.
Some near falls in that match too. I really, really, really thought uh Serena Deeb was going to come out of there with, with the
Especially that
win.
one where the referee looked like he messed up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was some very close calls and like pins and different pinning combinations. Like I was very, very much enthralled in this match and just watching it, not necessarily taking notes because these two women put on a show.
A clinic.
Like, yes, very
Absolutely.
much so.
And it just shows you
All
too that
four.
Thunder Rosa. I don't mean to interrupt.
No, no, no.
Just shows you that Thunder Rosa is able to take and do that kind of style as well. It's just like Yellow Boy was saying, she needs to have more matches like that to where it kind of showcases her technical wrestling ability because she has an MMA background. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but anyway, I was gonna pitch that over to the H to the G's over there. We'll see what he says.
Like we said before, first off, it did not suck. It was a great match. And for somebody like me, like he said, who, has trained in a little MMA, trained in the judo, seeing the transitions and seeing how smooth each one was and seeing how even like, over here, boy, had popped when she did a little muffler hold on where
Oh
it's
yeah.
looking like she's hanging
Well,
off the
see,
Stretch
side.
muffler.
And I mean, just beautiful, different stuff. It's kind of match you look forward to when you're a person that wrestles. But if you're like, the opposite who thinks, every match supposed to be, everybody jumping off the top rope 15 times, you're going to be bored to tears.
hmm
But it's because you're not going to understand the nuance of all that. And nuance is what makes anything interesting, no matter what it is. And that was a beautiful technical match. I could watch that any day.
yep.
Yeah, I don't think I can add anything to that. It was a very well done match. They
Hmm.
they got the time that they needed. It wasn't something that was rushed. That bad spot that they're always well, they're not normally because it changes now, but what people always thought they got locked into on the Wednesday night show, that 9:30 Eastern spot, that
Hmm.
they always get stuck in all the women's segments. But I believe this match got about 15 to 20 minutes, and it was well worth it. Very well
Hmm.
thought out match, like the moves and everything. I don't remember seeing too many botches on a whole lot of stuff. Absolute professionals. Thunder Rosa needs more matches, and they need to put a belt on Serena Deeb again. If they don't put
Hmm.
her in Ring of Honor with the others, try to boost up that women's division. I don't know if Maria Kanellis is going to be part of it, but Serena Deeb needs a belt. That's all I'm saying. Anyway.
But kind of go real quick. You say you didn't see any botches. Now I did throughout the whole night, and it was in this match as well. But they put like sharpshooters and kind of stuff like that. They weren't squatting down on. They're just like putting like real
Yeah.
weak, level grounded holds, and it was in the Ruby Soho match too. And there was one similar like
Yes.
that in the Serena D match. But yeah, I mean, going back to what you're saying too, they gave them ample time. I mean, they gave everything on this show ample time, hence the
Right.
amount of time it went. But I never felt like anything was okay. Let's go. Let's wrap it up. It just didn't seem that way to me tonight. So, I mean, for what it is, I mean, here I am at whatever time it is in the morning trying to figure out what we're doing with our lives. But still, at the same time, it's like Tony Khan's just like, F it, bro. We're going to just get all the times. So,
Right.
Shoot, not only that,
Um,
it wasn't like you were ready for them to squash somebody and get it over with.
right.
You actually was enjoying the time each match got.
yeah, and I think it also goes to tribute to the report that came out that Tony Khan was trying to delay so that the the NBA playoffs game could go off before the main event of Double or Nothing came on because he didn't want to shortchange the main event. So I don't know if that had anything to deal with the length of all the matches, but yeah, like you said, OHB, even though a lot of the matches were giving tribute to Owen Hart, there was a lot of sharpshooters present. I think a lot of the performers, with the exception of a few, were a little unsteady. And so, because of their unsteadiness, they would kind of fall over into the sharpshooter and wouldn't apply it like we normally would see it with that, the proper squat and the pressure on the back and such like that. It was just one legs and or folded over. So anyway, it was a good match though. That women's match. I may say controversial. I may say that's my favorite match of the night.
Yeah, I agree.
So it was my match
hands
of the
down,
night.
dude. It was banger.
A close second or a close first is the next match was the Anarchy in the Arena match.
Literally.
Off the
With
rails.
Jericho,
Man.
the Jericho Appreciation Society versus the Blackpool Combat Club with Eddie Kingston and Proud and Powerful. And by God, this match was nuts. Hogs
Man.
Wars, what you got, man?
like they said,
Exactly.
first of all, like they said on the thing, it was way better than the Stampede when they had, a couple years ago. Period. And then second, the amount of chaos was insane. To the fact that you can tell they had one camera on each set of people the entire match because there was too much stuff going on in different places. And they had to replay it at the end of the match to show you, oh, this what happened in that spot you missed last time. Because there was so much stuff going on. It was absolutely nuts. Between guys getting hit with mustard while they bleeding and other people jumping off of ladders to on tables to other people just jumping on random tables because why not throw somebody through a table? Just
People
massive
got forked.
crazy.
They got forked.
Man, I'm telling is that a fork? Oh my god. So yeah, definitely didn't suck at all.
Man, this was crazy. There was a lot of crazy spots. If you don't like old school, like not necessarily hardcore matches, but anything goes matches and stuff like that, then I don't know if this was the match for you. I think it's kind of serves a specific demographic because sometimes the younger generation don't care for these types of matches, while an older generation kind of does because it's what a lot of the older generation grew up on with the
Mm-hmm.
Attitude Era
Attitude
and such
Era,
like
yeah.
that. So, but OHB, I'd like to get your take on this Anarchy in the Arena match.
Man, like it was a lot going on, like Hogswood said. But there was a few instances where first of all, the thing that popped all of us and also aggravated all of us is like they played Mox's music like 14,000 times in a row. And then finally Jericho went over and smashed the audio stuff
Yes.
to shut
Right.
it
That
down.
was
He
so
said,
funny.
he started hitting it, breaking it. Dude, that popped me when he did that. But there's one spot where him and Mox try to get on a scooter and drive off, but they couldn't get that boy started.
Right.
And then 2.0 was just getting kicked around. And then,
Oh my gosh.
man, there's
Man,
one part, though, where Daniel Garcia straight up power drive Ortiz from the apron onto some steel steps, and that's probably the second most brutal pile driver I ever seen, right behind the one in the same show that Penta put on old dude. So, I mean, dude, but there's so much. Everybody was bleeding except I don't think Daniel Garcia
Except Jericho, pretty
ever
much.
bled. Jericho didn't bleed, and then maybe Bryan Danielson, but towards the end he was. But,
Right.
man, like Mox, he was forking people in the forehead. Then he goes in the ring. They get the ring side, and he starts taking off the ring turnbuckles and takes the top rope off and starts hitting people with the linkage piece from the turnbuckle to the actual. I don't know what that ring post.
Yes.
So that would come into play later on, and then Jake Hager's Mickey Mouse gloves got heat with me for sure. But
might have the white gloves.
Them church plate gloves,
Oh no, not the Usher Boy gloves.
And then at the
Mike
end,
was about to give the Lord something.
Right.
Eddie Kingston rolled out at the end though, and then he was pouring gasoline on Jericho because he'd had all he was doing.
Man.
Then Bryan Danielson took offense to that. He said, "No, dude, that ain't how we do this." And then they got into it, and then that's when the finish of the match came. Bryan Danielson tried to hold it off all he could, but he could not, and he eventually succumbed by getting strangled. Straight up,
literally.
murked in the middle of the ring, son.
One of the things that I bring up is that they played off of that, 2 weeks ago on Rampage, as he was leaving the ring, he fell off and got stuck and hurt his leg. which I don't know if that was a shoot, if as they say, or if that was, kayfabed up. Yeah, So, um, but Jake Hager hit him in the back of the leg with Floyd the Bat. I believe that was Floyd.
Yeah.
It hit him in the
He
back
hit
of the
that
leg
joint
to
a couple
play off of
times.
that. So that played into that conclusion where Jericho, I wish he would put in the Lion Tamer. Like he never puts in the Lion Tamer anymore.
He
The
probably
knee in the
can't, man,
back.
with blowing his back out.
Right.
Probably. You're right. You're right. He's doing enough to keep them abs straight.
Yeah.
So
He ain't trying to have
he
that
don't
rock.
want to.
He ain't trying to have that rock injury when he came back that last time.
Right.
Oh boy, just blow out everything.
Take his whole goddamn arm out.
Yeah.
Right. But so yeah, he hit him with the walls of Jericho, kind of, and Jake Hager, Jake Hager grabbed that turnbuckle rope that OHB had talked about and was strangling him while he was getting put in the single leg because he transferred from the walls of Jericho to a single leg crab and choked out Daniel or Brian Danielson. Almost called him his old name.
Yeah, he
Brian
was
Danielson.
straight up pulling a stump out of the ground. How hard he's pulling up on that rope, son.
He really was.
And of
But
course,
OHB,
ref Aubrey said, I guess
right.
Brian had gave up, man.
But you said that they should have done something differently with that finish.
Yeah, he was holding
that
on
would have
to
made it look better.
that turnbuckle rope being choked, but like if he would have like just let loosen his grip and then just let his hands fall, hit the ground, I'd have been like that's more believable. But at the same time though,
Right.
if you're over there trying to struggle with something and you pass out, like your hand's still gonna be stuck there if they caught underneath the rope. So I mean, it
Yeah.
worked. It worked.
Right. And old boy Jake Hager looked like he was taking no mercy anyway, so he pulling pulling all hard on
Yeah,
it.
because
So
he said
Right.
we the people. That's why.
Literally, that's exactly what he did.
He said if you're American, if you're not an American, you're an Americant. That's what he said. Jeb Coulter, you got heat with me.
His mustache has heat with me.
Look like the Lorax.
Wilford Brimley.
Yeah. Diabetes. Yeah.
Diabetes.
That's good.
But yes, the Jericho Appreciation Society won that match. It looks like Jericho has expertise in those types of matches, and it goes along with his sports entertainment shtick. Real quickly after that happens, there's a segment with Andrade, who is currently, I will not say what I said off camera about Andrade, but Andrade is enjoying his honeymoon currently with his new wife, Charlotte.
He doing some sleeving.
Tranquilo. So, but he had mentioned that he was tired of being in basically a sucky group that never wins, and he's writing a new contract for a new person to be his business partner. Lo and behold, it's Roosh. It is Ring of Honor's Roosh, which it popped OHB and myself because of the fact that it looks like they may be starting up their old faction from Mexico. So it could be the start of it. So eyes on that. Roosh, wasn't he one of the longest, well, not longest reigning, but one of the recent Ring of Honor champions before Grisham?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I thought he was one of the champions or whatnot, and he had to.
I'm kind of interested to see too now where they go with this, maybe because like I'm not too sure what Dragon Lee's got going on, but Dragon Lee's his brother, so I mean, like Andrade may finally have what he needs to do better stuff than just like kind of just being shuffled in with like groups. You're just like, dude, you do not fit here, and it's not your fault. So
he needs that talking piece too. I think like what he had with WWE with Zelina Vega, her being his talking piece, and then letting him do it worked, but because we were looking at this promo that was being or segment that was going on, and we were like, what? Like, no offense to Andrade, he's worked his butt off to make sure that he got better with speaking English. It's still
Mm-hmm.
not all the way perfectly clear, and that's no shot to him because it's not his first language. So obviously, it's not going to come out as clear when it's not your first language. So I think that he would benefit from having a talking piece with him. But
Yeah, and
hey, we got
he's
Rich.
got that heavy Mexican too, man.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the kind of thing that like Conan talks about, and he says that's why I know American promoters want to work with like lucha stars is because none of them want to try to learn good English, and that's kind of sucky. But at the same time, I get it because the language barrier is a huge thing. But I mean, they got that dude there with him. That guy should be doing all of his speaking. He can sit
Yeah,
there and he can talk.
Mm-hmm.
He can talk to dude in Spanish, and then dude can translate it because that's essentially why that guy's there.
the
So
assistant Jose.
yeah, Jose. So I mean,
Right.
if not, then why you got that dude there? He's not needed. If you're going to let Andrade still talk, then get that dude out of there and find
Right,
somebody else in there. I don't know, man.
right. Hopefully that gets him into some form of title contendership as well, because Andrade is a lot better than what they're doing for him right
He's way
now. He
better
definitely
Yeah, I
for
think he a
sure.
5-star match kind of guy, and it's like
Yeah,
they're not even
he
giving him
is.
the opportunity to do so.
right, right, and like also it gives a chance for you remember when AEW started, like Hall of Wars. You remember when AEW started that Private Party was a tag team contender, or
Right.
they were up there, and then they got with this Hardy family office or
And
whatever,
it just
and
went
just
downhill fast.
yeah. So maybe they can get away with or get away from that whole deal, and Andrade can build back up his faction with without them, and they can go back to the
Mm-hmm.
tag team. And the Butcher and the Blade can go back to because like that's a really good tag team as well. I love their look. But after that was the whole thing that we talked about with Men of the Year. Already talked about it, which led us to guys. We're also getting to the home stretch. There's a couple of matches left on here, so if you got comments, put them in the comment section. Make sure you're liking and all that stuff. But triple threat for the tag team championships with your champions Jurassic Express going against um, Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks versus Swerve Scott and Keith Lee. Big, meaty men slapping meats. There was the spot in that happened, but whew, 5 hours, y'all. What, what do y'all think about this match, this triple threat?
It was way better than I thought it was gonna be. I will say that. I'm glad everybody really got a chance to shine. And Keith Lee finally looked like the hoss he really is, instead of looking
Yo,
like he getting
mm-hmm.
abused the whole goddamn time. Like he keep letting everybody do him. And
Yo.
Giggity.
the put a nice bow on the whole thing.
Yo,
I did not think Jurassic Express was gonna win that match. No
Me
way,
neither.
shape, or form. Especially the way they've been kind of teasing that thing with Christian the whole time, even during the match. So it's just, I'm glad they finally, kind of got over the hump because I mean, they should feel like it's blowing them up, but in the same token, they title reign and I mean not Adam Cole, um, Cowboy. Oh, my brain is died off.
Hangman, Adam Page.
Hangman.
yo,
Both of these title reigns just really feel like they just there. Like you
Yeah.
earned it, so we're giving it to you, but we couldn't think of anybody else at the time. So
oh, dang.
It's it's sad that the Jurassic Express seemed secondary in this build to the championship match.
shoot,
Like,
third, forget secondary. Everybody
yeah,
cares about the other
because
two way more.
it was more about Starks and Hobbs versus Swerve and Lee than it
Hmm.
was ever about Jurassic Express. And the only thing with the Jurassic Express was when will Christian turn on Jungle Boy? Like
Right.
that's the only thing that I think a lot of people are thinking about. But what did you think about it, OHB?
I mean, what do you want, man? There's a few convoluted parts there, man, where like people are getting tagged in, and I'm like, hold up now, this dude ain't the legal guy, and you fixing to start beating up on him and try to pin him and stuff. But I think that's your referee's fault, Rick Knox. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
it's Rick Knox.
Yo, Uncle Fester, uh, Roger Rabbit Judge looking at boy. Nah.
No,
but no, dude. There's one time where Jungle Boy, no joke, Jungle. I knew I'd pop y'all eventually. Now,
you just gotta get it in, man.
he went so Memphis on us.
It really did.
It's
been one day down here.
You remember that one part though? No joke, where Keith Lee's outside, Jungle Boy took off running, and he jumped out on him. Keith Lee caught him.
Yes.
Power bombed him on top with Luchasaurus, then power bombed him again. And I was like, what? Keith Lee's a beast, man. But it was just really a show to show what Swerve and Keith Lee could do, and Hobbs and Starks. And that one part where Starks was out there showboating like Michael Jackson, dude. Had me cracking up. But dude, he did do a nice little slingshot Rochambeau on Jungle Boy, and he picked him up, did like that, and pow. But yeah, man, they hit that whatever their maneuver's called. I can't think of it. Was it
Jurassic? I think it's called Jurassic Express.
It's Jurassic Express.
That's original, bruv. He did. He hit that at Jurassic Express on the Swerve, man, and that was it. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I mean,
it was all over the place, really.
It was, and the stark contrast, no pun intended, stark contrast with Brody King earlier trying to do a plancha versus Keith Lee running and doing a plancha. Brody hit the apron where Lee went smooth over the rope, didn't hit anything, and just landed. Which is the old Keith Lee that we really wanted to see. That was the one that showed up in NXT and was on the Indies.
Most thing I have ever seen in my life.
Yeah, he never even touched a rope, son. He took off running right over it.
He looked like they're in cruiserweight going over that goddamn
thing. He did,
yes.
But he keep doing that, and he ain't no knees, son.
You know what that's about. Although I heard a word on the street, you got all the knees. That's right. We get off the rails here, boys.
Yeah, we are.
We got to get you on track, man.
6 hours of a show, guys.
6 hours. That's what I was about to say. 6 hours of a show. This is what happens, y'all. It is 2:00 on the East Coast. So yeah, 2:09 on the East Coast.
If you guys think this is bad, you should hit our Twitch streams when we got them going and playing games. This is mild and that is wild. I'm telling you. Yo.
Yes. So I will say before we get into the main event that there was an announcement for a 10-man tag team match for Wednesday's Dynamite, which was Jurassic Express and the Hardys versus all of the Undisputed Elite. So that's going to happen on Wednesday. Whew. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we have now made it to the main event. Again, you guys, make sure that if you're putting in chat, make sure you're putting chats in. Make sure you're clicking that like, hitting that subscribe button, and hitting that bell for notifications. Just like tonight when we're going late, because this show was 6 hours long. But the championship match, the champion, Hangman Adam Page versus the challenger, CM Punk. And to me, it seemed like in the beginning, it was more of the crowd was more sided with Hangman than CM Punk. And then it shifted halfway through. And then it was split somewhere in the middle where half of the crowd was cheering for Hangman, half of the crowd for CM Punk. And hey, man, CM Punk ain't got them legs no more. Them legs ain't sufficient.
Bro, he skipped leg day for sure.
Why does that pop me so much?
Because you know what it is.
If you
that's a day nobody wants to do.
Man, no. Yeah, because we say this because twice CM Punk tried to do the buckshot lariat and just legs blew out just completely as he did the flip over the ropes. Just hit his backside. Bless his soul. Like he did it before on Dynamite when he had his one-on-one match, but tonight after doing a whole bunch because it happened I think 3/4 into the match when he tried to do these two buckshot lariats. So he's pretty much gassed at this point. Um, but
Crowd about booed him out of the building too.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, some of the crowd went for Punk. They were cheering for him, and then halfway through, they were booing him. They booed Hangman Adam Page as he slowly mocked CM Punk to do the go to sleep gesture, which his go to sleep looked fine. It wasn't like the buckshot lariat that CM Punk tried to do.
That's what I'm saying though. When he missed that second buckshot because his knees crippled out, the crowd went. They booed him. They booed that man.
That's not the best in the world. No.
The crowd.
He had them Vince McMahon specials on right there. Them Triple H legs.
Right.
Oh, no, not them Triple H.
Right.
You want to be
both quads.
He had them Kevin Nash quads.
After he talked about Kevin Nash in that promo in WWE, click,
right.
Click.
You got done
in, boy.
Run up, got done up.
I don't know why it just popped me so much. But yeah, I mean, Hangman hit his normals. There was one point. Oh, I'll let you talk about OHB where he was outside the ropes because he was trying to do one of his regular moves that he normally hits. You know what I'm talking about? Where he was.
Are you talking about when he tried to do the moonsault?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which one? He tried to do it the first time.
First
and
one
pan off, and then he did the second one and blew his own knee out. Or if he didn't, it definitely looked like he should have because the way he landed on it, I was like, "Oh, that's a stinger," or he stunned it or something.
Yeah, it played into the match as well because
they tried to play it into the match, but I know better.
Yeah, you're right. Hogs Wars. What'd you note from the match?
I noted that Adam Page came out there on like a house of fire trying to prove that he didn't believe CM Punk should win. CM Punk pretty much doing more facials than actual moves.
Yeah.
and when you finally, when they finally got to the end and, CM Punk finally hits the GTS, everybody kind of was like, false finish coming.
Yeah, exactly.
Waiting on it. And then when it didn't, he was like, they really let him win. What the hell?
Right.
The whole show, man, false finishes out the rear end. This match didn't have nothing like that. And he hits the GTS one time, son, and it's done. And then I was like, what's going to happen? Nothing.
That was like a paradise.
Like, well, I waited all this time for this. Come on now. Like, y'all would have somebody run out on him or something, dude. I don't know.
No.
But he's going to do some healing. Yellow Boy thinks that CM Punk's going to do some healing here pretty soon. I agree with it.
I mean, it would make sense, but it also goes and builds with storyline with Hangman because ever since Hangman lost against Jericho, it's been the storyline that he hasn't had confidence in himself to continue to win the big one. He won the championship, and that's when he had all his friends around him with the Dark Order and things. But now, as of late, he's been pushing the Dark Order away. He doesn't have really any friends. And this could lead to him possibly going back to drinking again because that was a thing, and could possibly lead him back to his friendship with the Bucks because the Bucks were there when he won the championship and they haven't really came back to it. You know what I mean? Like outside of like little stuff here and there on like BTE, which not everybody watches BTE.
Right.
They haven't really made any mention of the Bucks and Hangman's relationship, and that's just kind of the thing that AEW does. They plant seeds here and there, and those for the loyal fans who pay attention to that, they make payoffs way later in the future, so that they're like, "Hey, this happened back then, and now I noticed this," and it kind of gives a better payoff for their fans. So we'll see. Like I said, or like OHB said, I was thinking that CM Punk could really turn heel only because of the fact that just how he was, his mannerisms and everything have been for the last couple of weeks. His promo against Adam Page on Wednesday, just being really, it was like he was being a babyface, but at the same time, he was being a douche about it. I was about to say something else.
Mm-hmm.
A douche about it, you know.
Rogan.
You're gonna shake
Had
my
been Rogan.
hand. Right. You know, so I just want to see where this goes from here because there's a lot of dynamics that's changed with the changing of the belt. And here, I know that there's going to be criticism because this is, again, another ex WWE guy who has the championship, and AEW is supposed to be built from the ground. So I'm waiting to hear those folks, those
Oh, you know, they
WWE
didn't probably
stands.
load up the message boards.
Yeah,
Like,
it's literally just one dude that's had the belt since they've been open that's been an AEW guy.
right.
The rest of them have
Yes.
been ex WWE dudes. I
Yes.
mean, I'll be willing to take that mantle on. I'm just telling you right now. You know, I tell everybody out there in the crowds will know it.
Stretch them.
That's it.
You're going to get the
That's it.
stretch.
That's all there is. You're gonna get stretched.
So exactly. So we got a new champion, CM Punk.
CP Monk.
CP Monk, Chick Magnet, Phil.
Chippendale Rescue Rangers.
Phil, baby.
Phil.
Phil Magnets. That's all.
6 hours. 6 hours, y'all.
Yeah,
6 hours.
We tired drunk at this point, boys.
Right. Right. Bros and sisters. Any lasting thoughts before we pull this thing to a close? Because it's 2:00 on the East Coast.
They gotta wrap it up, B. Like they can't have these long pay-per-views like this anymore, bro. I mean, it's brutal. Like, don't put so many matches. Don't put some of these matches could have been on the buy-in, dude. You didn't need to tell me about stuff I already know what's going on with AEW. Put 2 matches on there that run about 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes each, and then takes one away from the show and don't give it 30 minutes because it don't need that.
Nope.
I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. I
mean,
I sitting at home right now. I don't write wrestling shows, so, you know, what do I know, right? But, like, dude, I'm telling you, I can't imagine for the live fans that's been there doing wrestling-related stuff prior to the buy-in. So, I mean, you got to have some sort of the stamina and you know, whatever that I don't got. So, that's all there is. That's my last thought. Yo, giggity.
Right.
Hogs Wars.
I'm with him. You know, y'all starting to get into that WrestleMania territory where all the damn pay-per-views like 6 hours long. We can't keep doing this, man.
No, man, for sure.
Y'all doing people in. It's like, remember, we fans for a reason because we actually like this. You gonna mess around and get all them folks that barely watch and be like, nah, I can't do this. I can't give my whole life to one goddamn show. No. You got to find a way to make it work where you can still push your stars but at the same time not give us 30,000 goddamn matches every time. It was better this time than Revolution, but Revolution is what you really have to gauge it on. Where it's not the main one, and everybody felt like we were there forever.
But it started it.
Yeah.
And it seems like this is gonna be a reoccurring trend, man. No, dude, y'all got to figure it out.
Yeah,
exactly.
So let me be the optimist of the group. So unfortunately, I think these things are going to continue to be like 4 hours long. This one just so happened to be longer, but unlike WWE, there's way fewer of these pay-per-views. I mean, we have the addition of Forbidden Door, but usually there's only 4 major pay-per-views with AEW, so there's less of them. But I'm kind of getting to the point now where AEW is starting to not only have long shows, but they're starting to and have started to have shows on Sundays as opposed to Saturdays, where WWE are, WWE are having shows on Saturday, and they're about 2-3 hours long. Like, thank you WWE for the shorter show, and on Saturday, but your content kind of sucks. Thank you AEW for the content that's great, but it's way too long, and especially on a Sunday where regular folks got to go to work. Like that doesn't help. So I don't know what the where we meet in the middle with any of this. I did like this show. I did love being able to watch it with you guys and trip out and pop each other for this. Yeah. Hey man, put them guns away, bro. Like, it's
Right,
too
man.
early in the morning
I'm just
for
scratching
them
my
guns.
armpit, man. I didn't know y'all were.
Might
Put
bringing out the
that beef
gun stuff,
away.
man. But anyway, as I've said, well, before I do my whole closing thing, OHB, where can people find you?
Oh man, you already know what it is. You can find me at Instagram and Twitters at Over Here Boy. That's it, man. On Instagram, I'm at Hey Yuns, and over on Twitter, I am at Survey Says It's Over Here Boy. In respects to my one of my all-time favorite wrestlers, Razor Ramon, aka Mr. Scott Hall. Rest in peace, my dude. There's that.
All's Wars. Can anybody find you?
Yeah, on here. That's about it. I'll be hiding the rest of the time. I'll be in the
I
bunker,
knew.
man.
International man of mystery, just the way we like it. But y'all hit me in my DMs on, I'll tell you all that mess about him and his social security number, bro. For sure.
You're setting me up for failure. Thanks.
What are friends for, man? You know what it is.
Yeah, the setup.
Right.
But
Sweep the leg.
everybody else, y'all can find. Make sure that y'all check us out on those socials. Check the channel, Bros Brews and Botches, on Instagram, Bros underscore Brews underscore and underscore Botches. On Instagram, check us out on Twitch. We will be doing Twitch monthly. I don't know about weekly, monthly, where we'll be playing games. Check out OHB on YouTube doing his 60-second sips. Please, oh please, when you watch those, give it a like. Put some suggestions and comments up underneath. He will go out and do reviews on things that you suggest. But if you
Right.
don't suggest them, he ain't gonna do it. So
And I only can do things that I can find, so I will tell you if I can't find it, and then I'll pick something on my own, because that's what I do.
suck it. Um, um, I didn't say my socials. You can find me on Twitter, Badass Yellow Boy, BADAZZ underscore YELLA BOI 1914. There you go. 6 hours, y'all. 6 hours. But we're glad to be here with you. Make sure that you like, share, subscribe, turn on the notification bells. If you like the content, make sure that you're putting it in the comments so that we know. Yesterday, we put out a shot of brew with news brief. If you like that, make sure you're watching that. Make sure you're liking it. Make sure you're commenting. We'll do more of that. The 60-second sips, everything. We're trying to do new things when we can, how much we can to give you quality entertainment. The IG page has all wrestling news. Try to keep it as up to date as we can, along with the 60-second sips, so that you don't have to go on YouTube if you don't want to. Y'all, I'm exhausted. It's 2 a.m. on the East Coast, so we're going to get up out of here unless anybody has anything else to say.
Nope.
No. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we love y'all. We'll see y'all next time. We out.